Hello, my name is Susie and welcome to our webinar, Reconciling Expenses and Outgoing Supplier Payments with Business Finance Assistant. I will be your host today. This is Emily. She is a small business owner who has a cake shop with a successful online delivery business. She doesn't have much accounting experience, but Business Finance Assistant means that she can manage her business finances in minutes instead of hours. Here are a few of the tasks she faces, and throughout this webinar we're going to look at answering each one of Emily's questions so you can see how it's done. So let's get started. This webinar will focus on the 6 elements that Business Finance Assistant offers so you can deal with your outgoing supplier payments more efficiently. Let's have a look at each of these steps in more detail. So first we're going to look at how to reconcile an outgoing expense transaction and how to split an expense so we can apply different categories and VAT rates to each part. Then we're going to look at uploading receipts and supplier invoices to Business Finance Assistant so they automatically match to their corresponding transactions. The third part of the webinar will discuss why we would create expenses, and I'll show you how to manually match an outgoing transaction to its corresponding expense to mark it as paid. In the fourth section, if any expenses have been made outside your business bank account, we'll look at importing them so you can reconcile them in Business Finance Assistant. In this part, we'll also have a look at how to issue a supplier refund. Number 5, I'm going to show you how to split a transaction where the commission and fees have been deducted at the source of the payment. And then finally, I'll show you how we can support you every step of the way and where you'll find the help section. Remember, if you do want to clarify any of the information that I'm going to take you through today, always refer to the support centre where there's lots of help articles, video guides and user guides. Just type in what you're looking for in the search bar. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can always submit a request and a member of the support team will get back to you with help. And you can also book a phone call so you can talk to one of our UK-based experts. Okay, I'll now show you how to reconcile your expense transactions with Business Finance Assistant. So keep an eye out for those topics as we go through to see how and where you input the information. Okay, so let's get started. So today we're focusing on reconciling Emily's outgoing supplier payments during this webinar. So as a business owner like Emily, reconciling expenses and outgoing supplier payments is an essential aspect of maintaining accurate financial records. However, this process used to be a bit time-consuming and complicated for Emily, especially when dealing with multiple supplier payments and expenses. Fortunately, with the help of Business Finance Assistant, she can streamline this process and ensure her financial records are up to date and accurate. In this webinar, we're going to explore the steps involved in reconciling expenses and outgoing supplier payments using Business Finance Assistant. So, as you know, Business Finance Assistant is powered by your bank transactions page. Your financial reports, such as your profit and loss and your VAT return if you're VAT registered, are all populated by the categorization of the incoming and outgoing payments going through your bank account each month. If Business Finance Assistant recognizes a supplier payment, it will automatically categorize your transactions for you, and it will automatically detect expenses that you've created and match them to their corresponding payments to mark them as paid. When you import a photo of a receipt, the OCR technology will automatically read the receipt and match it to its outgoing payment. So the more time that Emily spends categorizing her transactions, the quicker Business Finance Assistant can learn from her inputs for future automation. Eventually, Business Finance Assistant will automatically categorize up to 90% of her accounting for her. All she needs to do to ensure that her financial reports are accurate is to review the information to make sure all the expenses are correctly matched to their corresponding payments. And she needs to also check that all outgoing transactions are correctly categorized and confirmed. Okay, so it's the end of the month and Emily has lots of supplier receipts that she needs to reconcile. She's been paid by her card merchant in bulk and they've deducted the commission from the source of her payment. She used to feel quite overwhelmed by the mountain of accounting she had to do, but with the help of Business Finance Assistant, where everything's automated, managing her business finances is quick and easy. So let's have a look at helping Emily reconcile these monthly expenses. So each month, the first thing Emily needs to do is go to her bank transactions page to see what she's spent this month. So let's do that now. So there's two ways to reach the bank transactions page. Either you can click on bank transactions or you can simply go to the view bank statement button. Okay, so there's an icon of a bell here on the top left, and this is like Emily's to-do list. She can flick through these items and review and categorize them easily. So let's have a look at this one transaction to be reviewed in March. Okay, so we have a transaction here. I'm going to recategorize this to show you how it's done. So first of all, I'd like to clear this transaction. Okay, so I'm going to press on the tick, select the tick there, go to actions and clear selected transaction. Okay, and then I'm simply going to categorize it myself. So the supplier is going to be the cake company. Instead of supplies and materials, which has been automatically suggested, I'm going to change that to product purchase for resale, and then I'm going to enter my VAT. Please remember that before you can press that confirm button, all of these three fields must be populated, and then once that transaction is confirmed, this is when your financial reports and VAT return will be accurately populated. Okay, so let's have a look now at April's transactions. So let's go back up to the bell, have a look at what we've got in April. We've got 3 transactions that need to be reviewed. So let's have a little look at some of these. Okay, I'm going to just clear one of these transactions because I want to recategorize it. So I'm going to clear that British Telecom one, and now I'd like to split this because Emily would only like to claim back VAT on 50% of her phone bill. So let's press the split attach button. Okay, and the supplier we're going to enter as British Telecom, which is already here. If you didn't have your supplier here, you can press the plus supplier button to add it. British Telecom. The first category we're going to enter is telephone. So telephone communication expense, and the VAT on that is going to be 20%. Okay, so Emily also uses her phone for personal reasons, so we're going to press on the split category VAT button. Okay, and the category is going to be the home phone. So let's go down to utilities, and we can add a new category if we wish. So if these categories don't exist, you can customize the categories and you can add a home phone or a mobile phone. Let's have a quick look at that. So when you open this up, you go to your main parent category and you can click on a new category, and you can enter the name of any category that you want. As long as it's matching to one of these parent categories, it will appear in the list. Okay, so I can click on done, and Susie's new category will be added to this list here. Look. Okay, so let's get out of there. Okay, and here I'm going to type in mobile phone because I want to differentiate between my mobile phone, and I'm not going to claim VAT back on that part of it, so I'm going to enter just half of this transaction into there, and now I'm going to deduct that from this top box here. So it's going to be 35.25 in each of those boxes, and you can see it balances out there. Okay, so I'm going to press on done. Equally, I can press the justify button and I can select my phone bill here, which will pop up, and then I can press on done, and that will be stored alongside my transaction. Okay, so let's have a look at finishing off these. We just press the confirm button on those, quickly confirm that one, and I'm actually, for this one, I'm going to just press on the actions button and retry matching one transaction, which hopefully will find the transaction that matches to that balance payment you can see there. Okay, so once that's done, we can go back up to the bell and we can have a little look at the next transaction. Let's just finish off categorizing that. Okay, and then we can go up here and we can look at the transaction she has to review in May. Okay, so we can see from the symbol of the lightning bolt here that Business Finance Assistant has tried to automatically categorize some of Emily's transactions, but we do need to review each one anyway to make sure they've been correctly categorized. So let's have a look at categorizing this one, some of these now. So what have we got here? Let's look at this Marks and Spencer's meal here. Often when Business Finance Assistant is trying to suggest categories, it sometimes will suggest the category working meals, but we're going to change this now. So I'd like to clear this transaction. I'm going to check the checkbox here. I'm going to go to actions and I'm going to go to clear one selected transaction because I'd like it to be empty of all categorization so I can categorize it myself. Okay, so let's just have a look at this. The supplier we're going to enter is Marks and Spencer's, which I've already entered there, and then I'm going to, it's already guessed correctly, the product purchase for resale, and then the VAT I can just enter myself quickly by clicking on 20% VAT. If I press the split attach, it might automatically categorize it, confirm itself, but I'm going to press the edit button because I want to press the split attach button, and I actually got a photo of this receipt here, so I'm going to press justify and I'm going to search for my M&S photo there, and I'd like to add it there. So I'm going to press on done, and that should be categorized. Okay, also please note that we can use the filter button to sort out transactions, and so we can categorize them all simultaneously. So if you look next to the date, there's a downward arrow here, and if we click on it, we can select all transactions that don't have a VAT rate. So let's do that now. I'm going to uncheck this one because it's an incoming amount, and I only want to categorize these outgoing amounts. So you can see all three of these transactions, four of these transactions have been selected. I'm going to simply change the VAT rate on one of them, and you will see that all of these transactions will be simultaneously updated there, so it makes it quicker to categorize multiple transactions at the same time. Okay, so Emily's got some supplier receipts that for May that she'd like to import. So let's have a look at doing that now. Hang on, I'm just going to uncheck all of those. So if we're going to click, if we're going to upload some receipts, I'm going to press on the actions button and upload expenses, and then it takes me through to my computer where I can select some of these expenses that I wish to upload. So let's put all of those in and press open, and now it should sort of start processing these tasks, and we can now start to categorize these expenses. And do remember, the more time you spend categorizing these receipts, the quicker Business Finance Assistant will pick up on your inputs and it'll know which category to select in the future. So this one is called low cost office supplies. It is supplies and materials. The VAT rate we're always going to have to select as 20%. That is correct. Let's press next. We've got the post office here, so let's check suppliers post office. It's called it other bank charges, which isn't correct. I'm going to call that postage and delivery. The VAT rate is going to be 20%, and I'm going to press on next. And then we've got the cake decorating company there. Okay, the category is going to be equipment purchase, I believe I made there. And then the VAT rate is 20%. Okay, and click next. And then we've got the cake tin company here. The cake company, I think it's called. The category is going to be product purchase for resale in this case, and then the VAT rate is 20%. So you can go through each of these. There's my Waitrose one. I'm going to reject that one because I don't want to do it now. So what's going to happen now is that all of those receipts have been uploaded to the system. So Business Finance Assistant should try to automatically match these receipts to their corresponding payments. So let's click on Actions, Retry Matching Transactions, and see if it manages to match them to the correct expense there. We can see an icon of a picture here when a photo has been correctly uploaded. So we can see the cake decorating company has added the transaction. We can press on confirm. I might just open that one up to see if it's correct. Yeah, that's correctly being attached. I'm just going to press on done there. Okay, let's go back. Okay, and I can confirm some of these transactions there. That's the post office. There's my other receipt there, and this one. Okay, so Emily has created an expense in Business Finance Assistant. So let's have a look at creating expenses now. Okay, so we're going to go to our expenses page. Okay, so we can click on the Lloyds Bank logo at the top to take us back to our dashboard, and we can click on the expenses page here. So let's have a look at creating a new expense, and we can create one manually, or we can upload a receipt if we wanted to on this page too. I'm going to create one manually. Okay, and I'm going to create a new expense. I'm going to pay it to Marks and Spencer's. So what has happened is that Emily has used her personal credit card to pay for this receipt, and now I want to just claim VAT back on some of this expense. And at this point, I'd like to explain why you would create a new expense. So recording expenses enables you to, A, provide records of your expenses for tax submission purposes, including expenses paid for in cash. It also allows you to be prepared for future outgoings, for example, when you know in advance that a payment will be due to a supplier on a specific date. And also it allows you to have access to more accurate financial reporting and cash flow forecasting. Okay, so let's continue adding these receipts in. So I'm going to add a split here. Okay, and the second part is going to be owner's draw, because this is, some of it was a personal expense. Okay, so the personal expense, let's call that 20% on that, and the amount will be 150 there. Okay, and then this one is going to be 100, and I'm not going to use any VAT rate there, exempt. Okay, I'm not a trained accountant, so please do check with your accountant if you wish to check which VAT rates to use. Okie dokie, so I think I've got, hang on, let me just put Marks and Spencer's in again there. Okay, and the payment I want to be forecasted on is correct. Okie dokie, so let's have a look now. I could actually add the attachment if I wanted to. I'm not sure if I've got that, but I'm going to add this receipt just so you can see it there. I'm going to press on done. So now we have a new expense there, £250. As this expense was paid for with Emily's credit card, the transaction doesn't appear in her Business Finance Assistant account, and the expense is now in the unpaid section of her expenses page. So we need to import that transaction to a cash account. So first of all, I'm going to create a new bank account so I can separate my current business account from the transactions that were made outside my business account. So let's do that now. I'm going to create a new account to put this to import this transaction to. So bank transactions, connect bank account, upload statements manually, continue. Okay, so let's call this a cash account. Let's call it personal credit card account. Okay, let's call it Susie's card. Okay, the number will be automatically generated, so let's just press on done there, and now you'll see that we'll have a new new bank account in Business Finance Assistant. And to this, I'd like to add that transaction, which I'm going to press actions, add transaction manually. Okay, and it was £250, so I'm going to put minus £250 there. I know it was M&S, so I'm going to put Marks and Spencer's there and today's date. Okay, so I'm going to import that transaction to my personal credit card account. There it is. And now I want to match that expense that we just created to this. So let's just press on actions and retry matching one transaction, and let's see if Business Finance Assistant can automatically detect that expense and automatically match it to its corresponding transaction. I think it has done that correctly. Let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. Look, that's the expense that we created earlier. I can click on that and we can see the expense that I created earlier. And now if I press done and I press confirm, that expense will be marked as paid on my expenses page. Let's have a go back and check that. Okay, so There it is, it says paid. Excellent. So that's how you match an expense to a bank transaction. Okay, so and this is the case. I mean, if you ever had any cash transactions, for example, you can always bring them and you can just import them as I showed you there. Just add the transaction manually. Always remember to put a minus sign, negative sign, if you want that to be shown as an expense, or just leave it blank if you want it to show an income. Okay, so please remember that if you have created an expense on your expenses page, instead of categorizing the transaction, as I showed you earlier, you need to make sure you match your expenses to your unpaid expenses. Let me just show you how to manually match that. So let's go and find that transaction again. Where did I put it there? It must be in this one. Okay, let's just edit that. Let me just remove that transaction clear. I want to show you how I can manually match it. So if you didn't, if Business Finance Assistant hadn't automatically matched that expense to the transaction, press the split attach button, press attach match document, select expense, and then here it is. You can attach that expense manually as well if you wanted to mark it as paid. Simply press on done and confirm. So this that's nice and easy. Okay, so do remember, if you have not created a new expense for your supplier payment, you can simply categorize that transaction by populating all of those three fields, so the supplier, the category, and the VAT rate, and then that transaction will be confirmed, and Business Finance Assistant automatically creates this OPay purchase receipt in the outgoing section of the tool. So if you prefer to categorize your transactions instead of importing the receipts to create the expenses, then you can simply categorize these transactions and press the justify button to add any proof of payment. So let's have a look at that now. So say we wanted to add proof of payment to this one, for example, we can simply press this justify button if we wanted to, instead of uploading the receipt. Okay, and then we can just categorize it as usual, offers, expenses, and then the VAT rate is that. Okay, so do remember, if you wanted to do these one by one, you can press the justify button, add your proof of payment to the transaction, and then instead of handing over physical copies of your receipts to your accountant, you can simply invite your accountant to your Business Finance Assistant account, and they can generate the financial reports they need to file your end of year accounts for you. And the only difference between using the justify button compared to using the upload expenses button is that with the justify button, you're simply adding proof of payment to the transaction instead of creating a new expense to match the transaction. So it doesn't make any difference what you decide to do. It just depends on what order you like to do your accounting in. So you may like to upload your receipts in bulk first, or you may prefer to categorize your transactions first and then individually add your receipt one by one. Okay, let's have a look at another scenario now. Let's have a look at supplier refunds. So this transaction here is a refund from a supplier as the equipment that Emily purchased was faulty. So let's first clear that transaction. Okay, so we'll clear it of all categorization. So you can use Business Finance Assistant to record receipts of credit supplier notes. So for example, if you receive a partial or a full refund in respect of a purchase previously made, we'll create a supplier credit memo to record that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our suppliers page here on the left hand side, and we'll select the correct supplier. So in this case it's going to be Amazon. Okay, then we're going to go to New Actions, New Supplier Credit Memo. We will populate the details of this supplier credit memo. So I think we're going to change the date there. Let's put it on the 1st of the 6th. We'll add an expense. Okay, so I think this was a product purchase for resale. It was a product cost. The amount was, well, we know it was 20%. The amount was £70.99. So hopefully we can just type in excluding VAT. that would be 59.66, I believe. Oh, I might be wrong on that. Hang on. Let me just check. Okay, let's try that. Is it 59? No, that's not right, is it? I just need to make it go down. 59.65. Okay, sorry, I haven't got my calculator with me here, so I can't work out how much that expense is. I know, it's 59.16, sorry. So, 59.16, there you go. Okay, and that equals the 70.99. Fantastic. So let's press on done now. Let's just check everything's in order there. Let's press on done. Okay, and we're going to finalize that credit memo, and we're going to download it. Okay, and then we're going to get out of there. Now let's go back to our bank transactions page. Okay, let's go and find that refund. It's in May. Okay, here it is. Let's press the split attach button now, and we're going to attach match document because I want to attach proof of that supplier credit memo, and there it is. Let's attach that. Okay, fantastic. That's all the details we need in there. We're going to click on done, and that will be recorded accurately in our financial reports. There you go. Press on done. Okay, so once that credit memo was created and Emily's matched the supplier refund on her bank transactions page, we can be sure that the VAT return and other financial reports are accurate. So shall we go and quickly have a look at that? Let's see the date. So it's the 31st of May there. Let's have a look at her her VAT return page. Let's change the current period to the 31st of May. Oh, hang on, where was that? April, May, 31st. And we're going to copy that there. Okay, and it was 20%, so we should find it in here. I think it'll be in one of these. Okay, down there. But I cannot see it right now. I think I might have... oh, there you go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, fantastic. That's going to be easier. And it was a purchase, sorry, not a sale. Sorry, there you go. Okie dokie, it's perfect. And there it is. That's our OPay receipt. Okay, you can see it in the VAT return there. Sorry, my VAT return was not behaving the way I wanted it to then. Let's have another quick look there. I'm going to select that. Okay, let's have a look at this period only, standard rate purchases, and this is the it's been reported here correctly on her VAT return. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for bearing with me there. Let's have a look now at reconciling a payment that's had the fees or the commission deducted at the source of the payment. So let's go back to Emily's bank transactions page. Okay, and we're going to go to May. Okay, so we have a bulk card payment here. Let's just confirm those two. Okay, we've got a bulk card payment here. So CardNet has paid Emily £1,500, but the commission has been deducted at the source of the payment. So let's click on the split attach button now. Okay, so the customer, I'm going to just put in CardNet here, I think. CardNet, yeah. I mean, I could put all of my customers' names if I wanted to, or I could use miscellaneous customer. Okay, and I'm going to press on the category. The first part of the category for this income is going to be sales. Let's put sales cakes, and we're going to be charged 20% on that. Okay, and now I'm going to press the split supplier button because I want to add a negative split for this to account for the commission. So the category is the merchant bank fees. So we have a merchant bank account fees there. The supplier again is going to be the same, so it's CardNet for the customer and the supplier, and the VAT I think is 20%, and we're just going to put £150 that was the commission, and we're going to have to add that on to this transaction price. So I'm going to increase that valued to 1,650, which was the real value of the sales, because £150 was taken out of that in commission. Okay, so if we press on done, then that should be reconciled correctly with a negative amount in a positive transaction. Okay, so we can at this point look at a few of the different financial reports. Please be aware that you can enable more of the financial reports if you wish. So if we go to reports, you can see you just have your balance sheet, your profit and loss, and your VAT return. If you invite your accountant, you will have access to more of the reporting. Equally, you can go to your profile, preferences, show accountancy information to on, save preferences, and then we will have more access to the reporting. And now you can see that you have a trial balance sheet as well, which will show you the equity and the liabilities. Please do ask your own accountant which category to use, as some of these expense categories, like equipment purchase, for example, equipment purchases, for example, will be displayed as a fixed asset. It won't be on your P&L as an expense. I'm not a trained accountant. Please do invite your own accountant to your business finance assistant account so you can ask them which categories to select for each transaction. Okay, thank you so much everybody for watching this webinar. I hope the information that I shared with you today was helpful and informative. Please remember, if you need any extra support, press the help and feedback button, type in what you're looking for, and you can also find help articles covering everything I've spoken about today, and you can also press the contact us button if you need to get in touch with anybody in our support team, and we can give you a ring back as well if you need to ask any questions. Okay, well, thank you so much everybody for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you very much, and goodbye.